Okay, so this is Unit 8 on work for May 11th, and this is our Part 1. Today we're going to be talking about introducing a recommendation email. We're going to practice getting information from a reading. We're going to do some new vocabulary, and then we're going to scan topics for specific information. So I'm going to scroll on up from here. And we're going to talk about, look on page 96 of your book. I know we've already covered that, but we're going to go back and look at that for just a minute. Okay, so do you remember Marco? Do you remember Marco? He's on page 96. What is Marco? What is Marco? He's an orderly, right? At the hospital. So what does an orderly at the hospital do? What is his job? So we're going to list some of the things an orderly might do. They might make the beds, right? What else did we talk about? They might pick up x-rays from the lab. They might prepare the rooms, because you have to, prepare the room after each patient. They might deliver the supplies. And they might sometimes deliver flowers to the rooms if a family member has sent some flowers. So those are some of the jobs that an orderly might do in the hospital. Just know that they are not a medical professional. They work in the hospital. They may wear the scrubs, but they are not, they haven't went to school to work in medicine, okay? So do you remember, did Marco like his job as an orderly? Did Marco like his job as an orderly from the work that we did, I guess last Wednesday? Yeah, he did, but he doesn't like the pay. So did he like his job? Yes. He doesn't like the pay. What does Marco want to do? Do you remember? What does Marco want to do? He wants to become a nurse. So he doesn't want to be an orderly anymore. He wants to go to school and become a nurse. Okay, so now that we've reviewed that a little bit, let's look on page 102 of your student book. We're going to go to there, page 102. And there's a picture at the top of the page. Who's in the picture? Who's in the picture? We see Marco again, right? And we see a lady, and we see what's the person in the wheelchair? What's she called? What's the person in the wheelchair called? That's a patient. Yeah, she's there to get some medical help, right? So what are they doing? What are they doing? So Marco is pushing the wheelchair. Marco is pushing the wheelchair, and he's talking to the lady, his co-worker, I guess. So he is talking to his co-worker and pushing the wheelchair. Okay, so do you remember what's the name of the hospital where Marco works? What's the name of the hospital where Marco works? Well, if you don't remember, you can look on part 2 and you can scan that message really quick. And we remember now that he works at Valley Hospital. Valley Hospital. Okay, so what kind of message? It looks like an email because it says new message and it's got the dots. So it looks like it could be an email. So I'm going to read it for us. Dear Mr. O'Hara, I am happy to write this recommendation for Marco Alba. Marco started working at Valley Hospital as an orderly in 2016. He takes patients from their rooms to the lab, delivers x-rays, and takes flowers in mail to patients. He also delivers linens and supplies. He is an excellent worker, and his co-workers like him very much. We are sorry to lose Marco. He wants to go to school and needs to work part-time, but we don't have a part-time job for him right now. I recommend Marco very highly. Please contact me for more information. Susan Briggs, says Human Resources Assistant at Valley Hospital. So this is a letter that Marco might ask them to write because he worked there and he's trying to get another job. So it's a recommendation for a job. So what is Marco's last name? Just scan it really quick and we find Marco. We look at his last name is Alba. And when did he start working at Valley Hospital? What year? We can scan it real quick and see in the third sentence, 2016, right? Who wrote the letter? Who wrote the letter? Susan Briggs. What does she do? What does she do? She works in the Human Resources department at the Valley Hospital, right? So just it's in the box, kind of the reddish brown box on page 102, the culture note. So teachers and so if you're in school, your teacher or your boss from the job that you have now can write recommendation letters or emails, and those recommendation letters and emails, just like the one for Marco Alba here, are to help you get a job. So like if I wanted to change jobs, I might go to the principal and say, hey, I'm looking for a new job. Can you write me a letter of recommendation? Right? And then he would write a letter like this and I can give it, or he can send it to the job that I'm wanting to get. Okay? So now what I want you to do is if you need to listen to the email again, go ahead and rewind it and on here and listen to it again, or you can certainly use your QR scanner and scan it and listen to it again because there's the QR reader on there. And then what I want you to do is go ahead and answer the questions in part 3. Please use full sentences and then we'll get back here and check them together. So go ahead and you can pause your video and then come back and we will check them together. Okay, so you should have done all of the questions in part 3. When did Marco start his job at Valley Hospital? He started his job in 2016. See how we're using full sentences. What does Marco, what does he do there? His job. So Marco is an orderly. Right? That's his job. Except I left out an R. Okay, so number 3 says, why is Marco leaving? Why is he wanting to leave? Marco wants to go to school, right? He wants to be a nurse. Who wrote the email? Suzanne Briggs wrote the email to recommend Marco for a job, right? And then number 5 says, why did Suzanne write the email? Well, I guess I could have put that. She wrote the email to So actually, we could leave that off of number 4 if we wanted to, and just say that she wrote the email, because number 5 answers it again, but it doesn't really matter. It's just more detail than it requires. Which word in the email means to make a positive recommendation? A positive comment. Recommendation. Because if somebody's recommending you for a job, that's they're talking about you. They're talking about you in a good way. So it's a positive comment. So recommendation is a positive comment. And number 7, Mr. O'Hara has a question about Marco. Who should he ask? He what? He should contact Susan Briggs if he has any questions, right? Because she is the one who wrote the letter and the one that at his old job that can answer any questions that they may have about Marco. Okay, so now what I would like for you to do is go ahead and make any corrections to part 3, but I also would like for you to take the time to go back up to part 2 and stop the video and practice reading that letter out loud. That's good for your reading and your fluency, so because we just got through practicing some writing. So if you could do that and then come back and we will move on. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about job duties. I'll say it again and you can repeat after me. Job duties. Job duties. They are things that job duties are things you have to do for, sorry guys, your job. So, if I'm an English teacher, and so some of my job duties would be to make lesson plans, make these videos right now, make videos, or teach the class, right? I also have to make and grade tests and quizzes. What else do I have to do? Those are some of the big ones. I have to prepare for the class. You know, like looking up such as worksheets and making copies, because, you know, those are all things that we would need for class, right? So let's go ahead and look on page 103. Okay, and on part A, down towards the bottom, there's a gray box that have vocabulary in it. I'm going to say the vocabulary and you can repeat after me. Assist the doctor. Assist the doctor. Assist the pharmacist. Assist the pharmacist. Clear tables. Clear tables. Handle money. Handle money. Help the nurses. Help the nurses. Operate large machines. Operate large machines. Prepare food. Prepare food. Repair cars. Repair cars. Take care of a family. Take care of a family. Okay, so I want you to go back up to the top of the page, and there's 9 pictures. So the vocabulary that we just did, I want you to use to label those 9 pictures. You can stop your video and then come back and we will go over them together. So we'll be going over part 4, the picture dictionary. Okay, so number 1 was repairing cars. And in the second one, we see them operating a large machine, right? That's like maybe a forklift or something. So they're operating a large machine. Okay, and number 3, they're clearing the tables. He's got a looks like some kind of a black bin where he puts the dishes after he clears the tables. Number 4, we see somebody cooking, so they're preparing food. Number 5, we see a doctor there, and we know it's the medical field. We see a stethoscope, and we see the bag that has the fluids in it. So we're going to assist the doctor. Okay, number 6, we see a mom with 2 kids, so that's taking care of the family. Yes, that is a job, right? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete this so we have room to finish. Okay, number 8, we see a guy, she's maybe bought something and he's given her change, so that's handle money. And number 9, whoops, sorry, wait. Number 7 is handle money. I'm sorry. Let's go to number 8. I misnumbered. Okay, that's a pharmacist. We see all the bottles of medication in the back. So we're going to say assist the pharmacist. Okay, and number 9, we see like maybe a nurse at a clinic. She's maybe putting a little thing on the girl's finger to take her pulse. So we're going to help the nurses. Okay, so if you didn't get any of them right, you can go ahead and stop the video and make any corrections. So that's going to do it for part 1. Go ahead and leave your name at the bottom in the comments, and I will see you shortly in part 2.